I'm Eytan Shander with Awesemo. We have 3 plays for you on this Wednesday evening, pre-Thanksgiving NBA slate for Jock Market. But before we give you those, make sure you take advantage of our promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO on Jock Market, and we're going to match your first deposit up to $50. All right, let's jump into it. Our first play, we're going to look at some guys at the top and then sneak somebody in there from kind of the mid-value range. Let's start with Giannis right at the top and take advantage of another big night opportunity here for Giannis. And really, it goes in kind of the value that we have laid out. Our own projection, of course, has him at the top, 48 points, but there's a 4-point difference between Giannis and Steph. And then it drops even further when you hit to LaMelo and Kevin Durant, that Alex has projected for Giannis to finish in Jock Market. Yet the difference in the fair IPO is only about $3 compared to, that 4-point range. So I think when you're looking specifically at the cost for Giannis, this is where it makes sense. We know that he's a monster. We know that he's a must play. We know that in DFS to larger tournaments, you're getting to him right through cash lineups. And in specific here with Jock Market, there is a matter of getting to him. It's just how much are you willing to pay? Well, look, I think in this case, based off of our own projections, what Alex has him at 48 points versus Steph at 44, and the fair IPO price at $15 versus Steph at 12, we've given you $1 cushion. And I think this is where you can attack Jock Market and really take advantage of a little bit of a barrier kind of cushion between what you can pay and what you can get back. We know Giannis is a lock to finish in the top 3 each and every night. He's got a great chance of doing that he's out there on the floor. So why not take advantage of that extra dollar that you're getting here, knowing that you have that extra point to play with? So I love going to Giannis at the top. $15 fair IPO price. I'll push that up to 16, maybe even 16.50, knowing that he's got the best shot across the board to finish number 1, and really by a mile, I would add, to finish in the top 3. Second play here is Steph Curry right below him. We're going to take advantage of circumstance here. Now, granted, Alex has him projected for Jock Market's Wednesday slate at 44 fantasy points. The fair IPO price has dipped significantly from Giannis at $12 compared to the 15 we mentioned. Here's the difference, though. It's pretty much the same all the way through James Harden. So you have both Nets and Durant and Harden and LaMelo at 11. The Nets are right there in that $10 range. Even John Morant is about $2.50 different from Steph Curry. There is, and don't get all hyped up for the Curry on Curry matchup. It may not even happen, but there is something about the Philadelphia 76ers limping their way to the end of a long road trip where they're not trying to finish 500 on it with some magical moral victory at the end of this trip. They're just trying to get the heck out of Dodge and go back to Philadelphia and bring Joel Embiid back. The Warriors, on the other hand, have been outstanding. They've won 4 straight overall. They've won 8 at home. This thing is moving at an MVP clip thanks to guys playing at such a high level, including Steph putting up MVP numbers. Clearly motivated to just knock out a team. You do have the blowout factor, which I get, and this is why I bring up Steph, where I think you can do the majority of your work pre-IPO phase with Steph, where you pay up a little bit, 12 to maybe 13.50, and once, as expected, the Warriors get up big on the Philadelphia 76ers, and they have this 15 to 16 to 18 point lead heading into the second half. That's where you can flip Steph, because the Sixers aren't coming back, and at some point late third quarter, you're going to start to see minutes disappear for Curry and any opportunity to continue to add to those stats. So really take advantage of game flow, I think, more so than anything else. All right, we have a mid-range guy here from value that we can jump to. He's projected CJ McCollum. Alex on site has him at 34 points, 34.3 to be exact, but the IPO at $5.50. Now, granted, tonight you can see in this slate here, as we look more at the later games on the road in Sacramento. Again, we're taking advantage of game script here, where it's a similar play out than it was with Steph, where you can jump in earlier, kind of overpay earlier, and justify getting out once the blowout is happening. They're not going to be down to Sacramento. This is not a Kings team that's all of a sudden going to show a ton of fight. McCollum comes off 32 against the Nuggets. Yes, Dame is back and looking like he's more consistently back on a nightly basis, but this is taking advantage of a far weaker opponent that doesn't have much to offer, clearly in disarray after firing Luke Walton and now trying to figure something out from a standpoint of consistency. It's not going to happen overnight, and it sure as heck isn't going to happen against the Blazers and against that backcourt. So while Lillard is there, you're going to pay a little bit more. The expectation, and granted the payout, is expected to be a little bit higher. I think McCollum becomes a really interesting mid-range play. 550 could bump that up to probably 650. And here's the thing. Once we start to see him, and I think McCollum or Lillard, but really more McCollum, becoming the vehicle of why they're up so big, like Steph, like we mentioned with that Warriors-Sixers game, you can start to flip McCollum shares and really clean up. So Giannis right there at the top, basically as far as the difference of projection versus points. We're also going with Steph based off of just taking advantage of a weakened Sixers team. And speaking of weakened squad, no better team in the NBA to take advantage of right now than the Kings. And that's what we'll do with CJ McCollum. But before you do anything, use our promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO, and we're going to match your first deposit up to $50. I'm Eytan Shander for Awesemo and Jock Market. Have a great night.